is not distracting to the authority nor interferes with the public's right to observe the meeting. Any member of the public who wishes to address the authority regarding items to be presented to the board today will be given the opportunity to do so. Comments regarding any issues that do not appear on today's agenda will be taken during the public comment portion at the end of the meeting. We ask that members of the public who address the board approach the podium and state their name for the record each time they speak on an issue. It is also requested that comments be limited to 3 minutes per issue. Paulina Benazia? Michael Beeson?
Here.
Senator Chris Brown for the acting DCA Commissioner.
Here.
Daniel Cosner.
Here.
Michael Hanley.
Here.
Michael Laughlin.
Here.
Alicia McGee.
Here.
Brett Maddock.
Here.
William Mullen. James Closis.
Here.
Dave Rebo for the State Attorney General.
Here.
Mayor Marty Small.
Here.
William Sproul.
Here.
Robert Tye for the State Treasurer.
Present.
Joseph Tyrell. Chairman Lobella.
Present. Thank you, Lisa. The first item on the agenda is the ratification of the minutes from the January 16th, 2024 board meeting. We've all had an opportunity to review the minutes prior to this meeting. Any clarifications, questions? There being none, I will entertain a motion to adopt the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carry. All right, we're going to begin with the land use regulation and enforcement portion of the agenda. The first item on the agenda is the PPP Dispensary LLC. Lisa, can you read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority granting minor site plan approval with variances pursuant to NJSA 40:55D-70C to permit the operation of a Class 5 dispensary for the sale of adult use recreational cannabis at the subject property located at 3001 Atlantic Avenue, Block 266, Lot 3, in the city of Atlantic City under application 2023-03-3401.
Thank you, Lisa. Do I have any recusals? Lance, do you want to walk us through it?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, board members. Pardon my voice, a little froggy this afternoon. This is a minor site plan for a cannabis application, as Lisa read in the application number correctly. It does have a variance and a couple of existing non-conforming conditions, as most of these adaptive reuses of these structures create. It's located in Resort Commercial District, and it is within the green zone, green zone redevelopment area. The property, as I said, has several non-conforming conditions: lot coverage, setbacks, building height. All those things currently exist and aren't being changed by this application. So we don't really require them to get variances for it. They just continue on with that property. The site's located at 3001 Atlantic Avenue, also known as Block 266, Lot 3. It is in the Central Business District. I think I corrected that from the RC District. The site is at the corner of Morris Avenue and Atlantic. Property's been used for multiple things. It was a library at one point. It was an appliance store at another point. This site actually has on-site parking and an on-site loading space, which is critical for this type of use. As you've heard me talk about for the last 2 years with cannabis, we try and encourage to have that loading area on the site, and this has that, and you'll see that in some of the pictures that I have coming up. We did hold a public hearing on this application back on January 4th. The applicant presented the minor site plan with the variances and waivers that they requested. They did provide several municipal land use law criteria for the granting of those variances, and then we put conditions on that, or recommended conditions on that approval. One, that they would comply with the city's green zone redevelopment zone requirements for architectural standards, obtain approval from the city of Atlantic City, which they have a resolution. They will need a further license from that as well. Provide security on site at least 1 hour prior to the daily opening to manage any crowds that might be there. Security plan approved by ACPD. All security cameras will be tied to ACPD. These are conditions we put on all of the cannabis applications. As well as no curbside pickup. That's also something that we insist on. We do recommend the approvals on this. Just to give you an idea of where the site's located, this is Morris Avenue, going north and south, going top to bottom of the page, and then Atlantic Avenue here. You have the Dunkin' Donuts across the street, and it's this white roofed building here that fronts on both Atlantic and Morris Avenue. You can see there's a shot from the corner. It's somewhat attractive building, I would say. It's in pretty good shape, brick facade, good sidewalk area and access there. And then looking down Morris Avenue, you can see they have a loading space here. We did lose one parking space, so they do need a parking variance for this application. Again, something that is nice to have. They do have parking on site along that Morris Avenue with good access to the street frontage there. So with all that, there's the site plan. It shows the entrance will be here along Atlantic Avenue with their vestibule area and their sales of the product here in the front, and then offices and things in the back, as well as a vault in the rear with interior trash storage that would be taken out by a private hauler through the storage through the loading area. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. We do recommend the board grant the relief requested and the minor site plan approval.
Thank you, Lance. Any questions or discussion?
Lance?
Yes, sir.
Question. Are there any churches or schools within 1,000 feet or so?
Well, the requirement's only 200 feet, so
Are there any 1,000 feet that you know of offhand?
probably 1,000 feet, yes.
Okay.
But that's not the requirement.
Oh, I know.
So, and that would be a school, not a church.
Did anybody come to the hearing?
No, we had no public comment at that hearing.
And what number application is this, would you say, that
This
we've
would
done on campus?
probably be the 28th or 29th approval of the site.
And do we know how many are within, like, 2 blocks of that? That have already been-
There's several in the 3-block radius of this site. I don't know exactly how many. Again, there's no restriction on it, and I have
I know.
cautioned the board with taking that into consideration. That would be a violation of land use protocol, so. I understand your concern with it, but it's
I'm
not
just putting it
something,
on the record, that's
Yeah.
all.
I
And then I
understand.
have one more question. So the parking. So
Yes.
the parking, and I realize it does have more parking than most, but it still only had about 4 or 5 spots. So I would
It'll have
assume
6, yeah.
that those will mostly be employees anyway, so it doesn't really have parking.
For the most part, yes, it will be, well, probably 2 to 3 employees. You'll have a couple for customers that come in and out. That was the testimony that they provided, that they would have 3 to 4 employees at any one time, so they have 1 or 2 for the public to come in. One of the loading space, when a loading was not happening, they would have an employee park in that spot. We did allow them to use that as a joint loading and employee parking space. So we did talk to them about that, and they will work with their employees about not parking on site, but this has more parking than almost every other
Right.
cannabis application that's come before us.
And Mayor?
And, you know, good afternoon, board. And just like I spoke at city council when I, told members in the Atlantic City community at the various civic associations, we have to understand that just because they get approved here and at City Hall, it's not an overall approval. What we found out that, it is so much more to do. Number one, we can approve it all we want. If the state of New Jersey doesn't grant them a license, it's all for naught. Our job, and I'm speaking, from the city's point, and I'm sure CRDA, is to push business, but don't oversaturate the market. We probably got 100 resolutions. Some of those resolutions might not see the light of day because of the aforementioned problems, such as funding. Someone came in our office today and said, I spent over $300,000, I'm running out of money, I need an investor to keep this project going. They don't even have a state license. They got a lease with an Atlantic City property, and I believe we only have at this moment 2 that are operational. We have a state-of-the-art one that's getting ready to open up at the Claridge, and I know when people see approvals of resolutions, etc., we might be blinded to the fact that, Atlantic City has all of these dispensaries. No. Will it be a good thing with the right amount? Yes. I'm wholeheartedly against marijuana, smoking, and everything. But as the mayor of Atlantic City, someone that is looking for more ratables for his tax base and business opportunities, they are taking buildings that are in not so great conditions around town to put a business. So I would just let everyone on the board, to please keep that in mind. At the end of the day, whether they operate or not, does not stop and start with CRDA in the city of Atlantic City. So just wanted to put that on the record.
I can, from experience, I can say that towns have been struggling with this balance. And so you've had towns that have been sort of open-ended, right? Anyone can apply. make it through the process, let's see what happens. Knowing that, not, the vast majority of them won't be able to make it through the process for a variety of different reasons, the barriers to success. And then you've had towns that put limits on the front end. And you're starting to see those towns, because I think the assumption was that, once it made through sort of the municipal process, that it would successfully make it through the state process, and, because we said it so, it will be so. And I think you're seeing a lot of those, I think towns are starting to see examples of the folks that they approved sort of not being able to successfully make it through the process. So where they wanted 5 or 6, they may be getting 1, right? And so they're opening it back up. So I think there's been this tension around trying to figure out the right balance.
Yep.
And so right now we have 2, and I don't know where the rest of the 26 are in the process, and I suspect that a number of them aren't going to be successful making it through the process.
Yes, and my reasoning was, let's not stop the little guy. Let us not get in the little guy's way. Give them an opportunity. If they can get it, God bless them. If they can't, that's a part of the process. Just like if it was any other business that's not named marijuana, everybody's not going to make it for whatever reason.
And Lance has been really good about making sure that we stay on top of the number of applicants, where they are in the process to the extent that he knows, so that, when these applications come before us, we're educated and we know where we stand as sort of an entity here, and what we're responsible for.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the things I will say is part of the process to get that state license is to get this site plan approval.
Yeah.
This is one of those steps.
Yeah.
And the mayor's correct. Not everybody's going to pass that test, even after they get this approval. And that's what we're seeing. There's a call last week, hey, can the CRDA loan us money? That's, by statute, we can't. Because it's an expensive process to get through for, in some cases, most cases, a small business. So some will fall out. Some will fall out.
Mayor?
He don't want to hear from you.
All I would say is that what the mayor just said is right. A lot of people are losing money on this, and I hope that it's not Atlantic City residents who are trying to start a business thinking that it's going to be like the next gold rush. It's not. And I know our responsibility is we have to, based on your analysis, we have to approve this, or we should approve this, not have to. But when you have 2 other dispensaries that are right next to it, and it's 1,000 feet from the school or church, it just doesn't sit well with me. So, but, I appreciate the application and Lance for your feedback.
Thanks, Mike. Any additional comments, questions from board members? Let's go to public comment. Any public comment?
I'm not here for that, but I'm here for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. But I live on Morris Avenue my whole life, and there is a school, and we do have a parking issue because all the teachers park. It's between Brighton and Morris Avenue, and they all park on Morris Avenue. Like, I can come home from work sometimes, and even school's out, I still won't have a parking space. So there is a parking issue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional public comment? All right. There being no additional public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
I know, that's why.
Ayes carried. We are moving on to item number 2. IMCMV Atlantic City LLC, DBA, this is a long one, Long Shark Bar and Grill. Lisa, can you read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority granting amended preliminary and final amended site plan approval with variances pursuant to NJSA 40:55D-70C to permit construction of an approximately 600 square foot storage space and relocation of an existing roof sign at the subject property located at 1100 Boardwalk, Block 1, Lots 142 and 142.01 in the city of Atlantic City under application 2024-01-3577.
Thank you, Lisa. Any recusals?
I have to recuse.
Okay. Thank you. Vance, will you walk us through this one as well?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application, as was indicated, is for the Land Shark Bar and Grill. It's a very small addition, about a 600 square foot dry storage building that'll be added to the boardwalk side of the existing restaurant site. It's for dry storage for the restaurant operation. They need to expand the kitchen, and they need to move some of the dry storage somewhere else, and this was a good location for it. Site's located, as indicated, along the boardwalk in the Beach District. The address 1333 Boardwalk is actually tied to resorts, but it's also across the street. The beach side doesn't really have an address, so that's why it's known as that. We did approve site plan approval for the existing restaurant and some expansions on that last year, some beach bar stuff down there. So this is an amendment to that site plan. Proposed structure, as I said, is for dry storage. The structure itself, coming in, we need no variances. We still need site plan, but no variances. The variance is created because that structure is going where it's going. It will block the Land Shark Grill sign that's on the face or the top of the existing bar. So they're going to move that sign to the roof of this structure. That creates a variance because we don't allow rooftop signage. So relocating that creates that variance. We had a hearing on this on February 1st. I do apologize for getting this to you guys quickly, but we wanted to rush this thing through at the request of the applicant so they can get open get this work done before the summer of '24. So I do want to thank Scott Collins and his team at Micah for jumping on this. They really did a yeoman's work to get this done for us. So we did have a hearing. There were no public comments at that hearing on February 1st. Board members, you're probably familiar with this site. The structure is going to pop in right around where my cursor is now, right there, just in front of the existing restaurant there. You can see it on the site plan. It's this area. They'll be building some deck area out over the sand there and putting that small building in that location. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to match the architectural style of the rest of the building with standing seam roof. And you can see the relocated sign here on top of that structure. There's a look at it from the boardwalk looking kind of southwest. Again, it's this structure here. And there's a look at it if you're walking towards the inlet. There's the structure there. And it'll match the exterior architectural features of the building. Really no impact to visual sight lines because it is lower than the existing restaurant. No height variances were required there. We would recommend the board grant amended site plan and the sign variance.
Thank you, Lance. Board discussion, questions? Easton, you don't have any?
Nope.
You
Looks
sure?
good to me, I'm positive. Thank you, sir.
You sure? Do you have any public comment? There being no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Oh, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, carried. All right, we conclude the land use regulation enforcement portion of the agenda. The rest of the items have been reviewed and recommended by committee for board approval. The first one is the Borgata Capital Improvement Project. Lisa, can you read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving the amendment of the Borgata Gaming Capital Improvements Project, authorizing a supplemental fund reservation in the amount not to exceed $3,585,617, and granting approval for the authority to accept an $878,000 donation from Marina District Development Company, LLC.
Thank you, Lisa. Any recusals?
Myself?
Okay. Loretta, want to walk us through
Thanks,
this?
Chairman. Sure. In July of last year, CRDA Board approved Borgata Non-Gaming Capital Improvements Project and authorized $8.165 million fund reservation utilizing casino investment alternative tax, known as IET obligations on deposit, of which $2 million was donated to the authority, $6 million went to the project, the rest was the project admin fee. These capital improvements were focusing on diversifying the property's amenities beyond gaming. And as part of the overall larger property improvements property-wide, by letter dated December 11th of 2023, Borgata has requested for the authority to approve amendment to the project grant agreement. Borgata is requesting an additional $2.635 million plus the project fee to cover two components. One of them is $915,000 cost increase in previously approved budget line items, and $1.72 million seasonal decor line item addition that will be changed out 4 times per year and reused annually. Borgata will also donate $878,000 from the available IUTs to the authority for the total fund reservation of approximately $3.585 million. As part of the project amendment request, the applicant submitted an addendum to the previously prepared market study. This addendum shows that the proposed seasonal attraction will add 2 permanent full-time positions and 14 part-time positions to the local labor market, paying $176,000 in annual wages. Additional economic activity resulting from the attractions is estimated to generate approximately $129,000 in taxes and about $200,000 in off-site spending. At this point, staff recommends the board to approve amendment to the Borgata non-gaming capital improvements project, authorizes supplemental fund reservation in amount not to exceed $3,585,617, and granted approval for the authority to accept $878,000 donation from the Marina Development Company LLC. Just representative from the Borgata to answer any additional questions if the board members have.
Thank you, Loretta. Board discussion, questions?
Not really a question, just to highlight that wanted to educate the board, and maybe the public is not aware of this, but under existing law, the good news for us in economic development is that the casinos are required to invest annually 5% of their net revenues for capital improvements. All the casinos are compliant with that today. These improvements can be for gaming and non-gaming. Just what we have before us here is the use of our funds that have been collected over the years through IATs to limit just to non-gaming economic development and improvements to the property. I think it's a great program and fully support this. One of the things I'd ask probably Borgata to address is that this is not the only money they're investing in non-gaming improvements. They have reported to us that, certainly Mr. Renkowitz has reported to us, that from 2022 until 2027, already on the books and planned, if not finished already, is up to $250 million in what I'll call CapEx or improvements to their property in just non-gaming areas.
Oh, wow.
So I won't steal their thunder, but if maybe Borgata can address that with more clarity and specificity, because a couple of these projects are huge and have been completed, right, Nick?
Thanks, Dave.
Good evening, everyone. Nick Kobach on behalf of Borgata. Rather than me repeating, and some of this was in our materials with our first application, second application in terms of the capital improvements. I'm going to ask Chris Renkowitz, who is the CFO for Borgata, to talk about some of the planned spending and what has already been spent. Chris,
the floor is yours. Sure.
Thank you, Board, for considering this. So as Director Reedbuck had mentioned, over a period of about 7 years, including in our 5-year plan going forward, we've been reinvesting in Borgata approximately $310 million, gaming and non-gaming. 2 of the biggest portions is our hotel towers. We just did a $55 million hotel rebrand of the MGM Tower. We have coming up a complete refresh of the Borgata Tower, which will be over $130 million. We've done a lot of the restaurants already. They usually run about anywhere between $2 and $4 million per restaurant. So we've done those already as well. So, any questions?
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for your time.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to belabor it, so we have nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. That's amazing. Any additional questions, comments from board members? If not, we'll go to public comment. Is there any public comment? There being no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt. Do I have a
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carry it.
Thank you very much.
All right. We have more riveting items for you. The next item is freehold property. Lisa, gave the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority authorizing rejecting the $370,000 grant from the November 8, 2023 public auction of CRDA owned real property located at 2405 Pacific Avenue, Block 164, Lot 63, and approving a supplemental fund reservation in an amount not to exceed $40,000 for continuing carrying costs and unanticipated expenditures related to the property.
Thank you, Lisa. Any recusals? Glenn, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman, board members. This concerns the building across from Boardwalk Hall, also known to a lot of us as the former Delilah's Den. And there's two parts to this resolution. The first concerns the auction that took place in November of last year. Because the authority no longer had use of the property, the board in September gave approval to designate it as surplus property and authorize the engagement of Max Span to hold a public auction with a minimum price set at $660,000, which was the appraised value at the time. Leading up to the auction, Max Span did an extensive marketing campaign that produced over 1,200 website visits and direct inquiries, and they ended up with 47 registered bidders. Pre-registered bidders, I should say. At the auction, the highest bid came in at $370,000. Some of the reasons for that were the condition of the building, the unconducive interior layout. The second floor to that building is mostly loft space looking down at the first floor. It was set up as a live entertainment business, and also the lack of parking.
Yeah.
There was also a lack of parking there. There's no parking owned by the building. Since the maximum bid was so much lower than the minimum set by the authority, staff is recommending that we reject all bids and continue to explore other options for the property. Second part of the resolution is to create a supplemental fund reservation, the amount of $40,000 for continuing carrying costs. We just about exhausted the current fund created in December of 2020, and as we pursue other options for the property, we're still going to be paying utilities, we're still going to have maintenance issues, and there's some fire code abatements that we're addressing. So again, we're seeking the board approval to reject all bids from the November auction and approval for a supplemental fund reservation of $40,000 for continuing carrying costs. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Board discussion, questions?
Are we required to sell at appraised value, or can we go below that?
No, I don't think we're
We're not
required,
required.
because I know we have to. We're not required. Any additional comments, questions?
Just another question to follow up on that. So, okay, the first attempt at public sale failed. We're going to put money aside for carrying costs. What are our options beyond that? Demolition. Knock it down. We could demolish the building. Then again, there would be stuck with a vacant property. So, is there any thought to trying to make another run at a public auction in a shorter period of time than what we just went through? That would be one of the
That would be a second
options that
option
we
to
pursue.
consider.
Yes.
But at the same price, at the six?
No, we've looked at updated appraisal values of the property, looking at the market now. It's a little different. The other thing, Mr. Rebuck, that we're looking at is there's a potential of using that for, so we have SID that is looking for new space. Our special improvement district is looking for space. We're being moved out of one spot. So we have some other options we're looking at right now. Not quite ready to pull the trigger on any of those yet. So also looking at other options, partnering up with some other properties in the area. So demo might be a great option because the building itself is problematic. Just ask Glenn, he gets the phone calls at 3
No,
o'clock
I
in
mean,
the morning.
that's carrying cost for what period of time? 40 grand? For what period? We're thinking like 2 to 3 years. Oh, that would be 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utility bills aren't much. It's more the maintenance that's hurting us right now.
How much do you pay in maintenance per year?
It's, right now it's the fire our inspections.
We have some issues to address for DCA following Marshall. And really, you know, we wanted to make sure there's enough in there that we're not coming back.
The 40,000 covers that as well,
That would cover that.
for 2 or 3 years. And how much would it generate if it was back on the tax roll per year?
The taxes.
Yeah, what would be tax?
Roughly.
I don't have a figure for that.
Okay.
We can get that for you.
Yeah, no worries, I was just seeing if it's more cost effective to sell it at the highest, because if we wind up spending $300,000 over a few years, it would have been better to put it back on the tax roll and let somebody else develop it.
We're not gonna hold on to it for 3 or 4
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
We're gonna come back
Hold it
to
for
it.
3 years and not collect taxes and then sell it for less.
We don't wanna keep it for that long. No,
That's not in Lance's, I can guarantee it's not in Lance's
No.
plan.
I have a disregard for, are we limited to how we can sell property? I know in Treasury, like, I can only do auctions.
It's gotta be auction or an RFP.
You say, we can do ours?
You can do an RFP.
We can.
Okay.
We can.
Okay.
For
Because
something,
with- yeah, with an
for
auction-
one small lot like that, an RFP really isn't.
Well, I know, but are you required to take the highest bid in an auction?
Yes, yeah.
Because with an RFP, you might have control of what
Correct.
what can be
You
done.
You can weigh what the project is, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
All right, any additional questions for Glenn and Lance? Both of them up there. All right. Public comment? There being no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carried. All right, now we are moving on to an item that's near and dear to Mike Beatson's heart, the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority establishing a fund reservation in an amount not to exceed $25,000 from the Tourism District and Community Development Fund, awarding a tourism marketing grant to the Atlantic City St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee Incorporated, and authorizing the Executive Director to negotiate and execute a grant agreement with the St. Patrick's Day Committee Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $25,000 to support the 2024 Atlantic City St. Patrick's Day Parade.
How many recusals do I have for this one?
I'm moving.
Hey, John, you want to walk us through it?
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. On January 17th, the Atlantic City St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee submitted a tourism marketing grant application requesting financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $25,000 to fund the 2024 Atlantic City St. Patrick's Day Parade. The St. Patrick's Day Parade has been an Atlantic City tradition since 1985. Due to COVID, the parade was canceled in 2020, 2021, and 2022. A new board was created to revive the parade last year, and they successfully put on the event. This year's parade is scheduled for March 9th, and we have received their conditional approval from the city to use the boardwalk. The organization's hope is to make the parade one of the biggest on the East Coast. They will do this by bringing in additional entertainment this year. If authorized, $22,000 will be used to help cover this entertainment, with $3,000 going towards marketing, banners, sashes, and badges. Total project cost is $43,000. Remaining funds will come from donations, sponsorships, and fundraisers held by the nonprofit. Our recommendation is to approve a fund reservation in an amount not to exceed $25,000 and award a tourism marketing grant to the Atlantic City St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee for the 2024 parade. Thanks.
Thank you, John.
And the city wholeheartedly supports this. We granted approval last year to bring the parade back. I had a chance to participate, and it was just an outstanding day. Not just the parade itself, but the buzz around the great city of Atlantic City was incredible. I'm sure if you talk to any business owner, they'll tell you that, you know, their bottom line and the money that they made. The town was very festive. It was a, you know, great mood, and we remain committed. We had a press conference last week, you know, announcing it, inviting more and more people to come. I'm told over 80 acts are in this parade, you know, floats, etc. Of course, within boardwalk weight limits. But this is something that that we're going to be proud of as a city. This is something that, you know, we're proud to get behind, and I urge my colleagues on the board to support it. And as many of you that, you know, came to the State of the City, if you think St. Patrick's Day is something, where do you see what we do for Christmas?
Are the acts on the floats, or you said the entertainment, are they?
I'm providing the initial singing.
What time does that start?
Little whistling in John.
I'm opening up at 107.
Floats in, I think.
Like, what I'm saying, is there like an area where people stop, like?
That I have.
Hi.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, Denise Gallagher. I'm the secretary for the parade. My new job. Literally 8 hours a day. There is a combination of entertainment. There'll be some marchers, there'll be vehicles, there'll be floats, there'll be decorated trucks with 20 marchers. I have Sovereign Avenue School signed up with 30 students. They'll be walking. I have Mighty Writers, which is a nonprofit club out of Star to Sea, and they're kids who learn how to write after creative writing after school, and they hand out books. We have 13 award-winning bands this year. We had one last year. We have 13 this year. So we're very proud about that.
I guess I didn't know if everything was moving. Or if there
It's
was like a-
moving, and we're not letting them stop, actually.
Okay.
The only planned stop as of right now is at the memorial at St. James Place, and we're gonna have the Avalon String Band stop there and do some kind of,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
nice memorial. But we're gonna keep it moving. At the end of Albany Avenue, we have the Jitney Association. They're bringing people back if they need to get back, graders.
Oh, very nice.
So everybody's been wonderful.
Is there like
Absolutely
a judges?
wonderful.
I played an Irish band. I was in.
Oh, that's what this is.
This is of a personal nature.
Not all business. Last year
Oh,
we did it in 31 days. This year we had a whole year, so we spent a lot of time on it. So.
Wow.
Yeah. And last year I had about 60, we call them units, whether they're marchers or vehicles or a float. The casinos, all Boardwalk casinos are involved this year, every one of them. So, which is huge from last year. So we're up to 78 this morning.
Wow.
So, it's a lot.
That's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot. It's a lot.
Any additional questions? No, it's good.
I'm good. I'm good. I'll be there.
You want to participate?
Thank you for
I'll be
everybody's
here. I'll be
support.
here for,
Thank you. All right, public comment? There being no public comment, I entertain a motion to adopt. Have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you first, thank you, Mayor, second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes carried. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are now moving on to less exciting items. The next item is city certification of assessment role. Lisa, can you read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving and authorizing the certification of the Special Improvement District Assessment Role for the period January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2024.
Thank you. Any recusals? Laura?
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Board. The certification of the SID assessment roles is the final step of the 2024 SID budget process. In accordance with Resolution 11-35, a public hearing for the certification of the SID assessment roles was held today at 12:30, providing account holders the opportunity to discuss this assessment. At the beginning of the year, the 2023 assessed property values as determined by the City of Atlantic City were uploaded into the Edmunds software system, and the 2024 assessment billing for the commercial properties within the tourism district were calculated at a rate of $38 for every $100,000 of assessed value. This rate has remained unchanged since 2011. An assessment roll detailing the individual property assessments was prepared and made available by appointment at the offices of the CRDA during normal business hours. Additionally, individual notices were delivered to each affected property owner by mail. This year's assessment billing is expected to cover approximately 12% of the approved 2024 SID budget.
Thank you.
Can you say that again, 12%?
12%.
Just wanted to be clear on that.
Thank you, Mike. Any more clarification?
No, that's it.
Any questions from board members or comments from board members? Public comment? There being no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, carried. We are now moving on to HVAC services. We're now entering the town meeting portion of the agenda. Lisa, can you read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority awarding contracts to Kisby Lee's Mechanical LLC, trading as Kisby Shore Corporation, Northeast Mechanical Services Incorporated, and Pulaski Mechanical Incorporated, in an aggregate amount not to exceed $400,000 for HVAC services on an as-needed basis for the 2-year period, March 1, 2024 through February 28, 2026.
Thank you, Lisa. Any recusals? Tom, you want to walk us through it?
Sure. Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board, and guests. On January 8th, CRDA released an RFP to engage one or more HVAC contractors to provide those services on an as-needed basis to CRDA. The RFP was published in Press of Atlantic City on January 8th, carried a post in Newark Star Ledger on January 8th and 9th, and posted on the CRDA's website for the duration of the bid process. On January 31st, the CRDA received 5 timely proposals from Kisby Lee Mechanical LLC, doing business as Kisby Shore Corporation from Atlantic City, Northeast Mechanical Services Inc. from Williamstown, Pulaski Mechanical Inc. from Vineland, PDN Group from Cranberry, and McCluskey Mechanical Contractors from Blackwood. CRDA staff members conducted a bid analysis to assess the respondents' experience and competitiveness of fee schedules and rates. The 5 respondents all were deemed compliant. The prior HVAC as-needed contract was held by Pulaski Mechanical, and it expires on February 29, 2024. The contract not to exceed amount was $200,000, and the balance as of today is $32,020. The authority has been experiencing cost escalations associated with procurement of MEP equipment. Staff is seeking the board's approval to raise the as-needed HVAC contract cap from $200,000 to $400,000. The board's approval of award of contracts to Kisby Lee Mechanical LLC, trading as Kisby Shore Corporation, Northeast Mechanical Services Inc., and Pulaski Mechanical Inc., in the amount of $400,000 for a 2-year period beginning March 1st, 2024, and ending February 28, 2026.
Thank you, Tom. Board discussion? Public comment? There being no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, carried. We're now moving on to electrical services. Lisa, can you read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority awarding contracts to Northeast Electrical Services LLC, Kisby Shore Electrical Contractors LLC, and Calvi Electric Company in an aggregate amount not to exceed $300,000 for electrical services on an as-needed basis for the 2-year period, March 1, 2024 through February 28, 2026.
Thank you, Lisa. Any recusals? Tom?
So on January 8th, the CRDA released a request for proposals to engage one or more electrical contractors to provide service on an as-needed basis for the CRDA. The RFP was published in the Press of Atlantic City on January 8th, the Courier Post in Newark Star Ledger on January 8th and 9th, and posted on CRDA's website for the duration of the bid process. On January 31st, the CRDA received 4 timely proposals from Northeast Electric Services from Williamstown, Kisby Shore Electrical Contractors, Atlantic City, Calvi Electric Company, Egg Harbor Township, and JJD Electrical LLC from Paulsboro. CRDA staff members conducted a bid analysis to assess the responsiveness, experience, and competitiveness of the rates on the fee schedule, and all submissions were deemed compliant. The prior electrical service contract was held by Calvi Electric, which expires on February 29, 2024, and had a contract cap of $200,000. Staff recommends the award of contracts to Northeast Electric Services LLC, Kisby Shore Electric Contractors LLC, Calvi Electric Company, in an aggregate amount not to exceed $300,000 for electrical services on an as-needed basis for a 2-year period beginning March 1st, 2024, and ending February 28, 2026. These 3 electrical contractors received the highest ranks. With the authority's experiencing cost escalations associated with procurement of MEP equipment, staff is seeking the board's approval to raise the as-needed electrical contract cap from $200,000 to $300,000.
Thank you, Tom. Board discussion? Public comment? There being no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt. Any motion? Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes, carried. So that will conclude the formal portion of the agenda. We are now going to move into public comment. I don't know if we have any speakers want to address this good-looking body here. All right. So there being no public comment, what we're going to do now is we are going to hold an executive session. An action may be taken by the board following the session. Lisa, do you want to read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority authorizing an executive session pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B8.
Thank you. Have a motion?
So moved.
A second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now it's in executive session. All right, Lisa, can you read the resolution?
Sure. Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority authorizing enforcement action in connection with Atlantic City's road diet plan for Atlantic Avenue.
Any recusals?
And myself?
I have to be recused myself.
You have all recusals? Sharon? You're not.
Good afternoon to the chair and the board members. We come before the board seeking to authorize enforcement action as far as the Atlantic City Road Diet Plan is concerned, and just as a general rule, are asserting our jurisdiction under the Tourism District Act, in particular section 5:12-219, which gives Atlantic City, the CRDA jurisdiction over the roadways and the directional control of those roadways in the tourism district. We are also asking that the authority ratify the Atlantic City Committee's authorization for special counsel to file an action within the ongoing litigation between the casino industry, the Atlanticare, and the city of Atlantic City over the road diet plan. We also ask that officials in on the staff, the director of planning and the code enforcement officer, be authorized to take whatever necessary action is required to enforce our jurisdiction within the tourism district.
Thank you, Sharon. Board discussion, questions? Public comment? There being no public comment, I will entertain a motion to adopt. Do I have a mover?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes, carried. I will now accept the motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The gavel. Meeting adjourned.